150, 850. That is in Clobberin Times issue number. That's right. Remember when Marvel or DC was so desperate they'd even act like an issue 150 was a landmark? Remember that, everyone? Good times. Welcome, my good friends. It's great to see you all here tonight. I'm still over there I was helping my great buddy Paulie at Latino Slant. He's got a show going on, and again, sorry I had to move the show back tonight. I was helping him with that. I was thinking about moving the show back a little bit anyway. If things going on, to this time anyway. I hate to do it. I like to slot it where it was, but anyway, I'm here, and I cannot thank you all enough, whoever is here and whoever may show up later, or whoever was here, for being here. Clobberin Times, again, issue number 150, 850 overall. That means 150 on YouTube, and in the little less than a year that I've been here, about a year, whatever it is now. I gotta look that up, see how long it's actually been. Maybe right over the year range. And of course, 850 over the past 12 years. And who knows? Hopefully more. A little bit of a show note. Of course, I don't have anything to put up there picture-wise, but or yes, maybe I do. Let's see. Yeah, well. Tomorrow, of course, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Global Geek Gang shall assemble again. And we'll do geek stuff. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something. Well, eventually, we're going to do another one where we have like an actual round table again. and because that's fun. And then, of course, Saturday night, the wonderful, the fabulous, magnificent Raquel Briggs and I, the greatest first officer of the fleet, will continue our review of Star Trek Only the Real Deal, 66 through 05, and continuing our review of Star Trek The Animated Series. This is our guidebook that we're using. There are many out there, but this one is ours. And it's a good one. So, yeah, there's that. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Saturday night for Saturday Night Star Trek. And again, Global Geek Gang will assemble tomorrow. And so, hey, well, let's say some hellos to some friends who are here tonight, because it's just an open geek foolishness. Again, there will be topics on Wednesday night sometimes, like as soon as I can get Flash together. Hopefully next Wednesday, but I don't know for sure yet. We will be doing our top 25 all-time favorite movies. And a big shout out. I'll touch on this a little bit more in a second, but a big shout out to the great Michael French of the great channel Retro Blasting. I had a fantastic time hanging out with him tonight. We had a big crowd, a great crowd, and lots of new friends and lots of old friends. And Michael and I are old friends, and it was so great to get him to hang out with me again. Such a busy man, and yet he takes his time out to come hang out with me because he's a true pal. And I had a fantastic time with him the other night. So, and I appreciate him so much. And I appreciate all of you who showed up. I hope you had as much fun as we did, because we really did have a good time we wanted to talk about that subject, ranking the Marvel movies, for a long time. I'll talk about a little bit more of that in a second. So first I want to say shout out to anyone who is here, still here. J-Man, look at that. The J-Man was in here earlier. I backtracked the chat, so I can't see any new ones yet. It takes me a second here, especially when I'm flying solo. J-Man, always a pleasure, my friend. He has a great channel. There's a link to his description below. He does good content, and he has good discussions. And even when he doesn't know I'm there, many times I'm there, because sometimes if I'm out and I can't use the chat because I'm away, or I'm out listening on my phone or what have you. But he's a good bloke, and please go subscribe to his channel. JT Kirk, always a good pleasure. Always a pleasure to see you, my good friend. Thank you, sir. Phantom Outsider, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, Snorter Poopas, Cuber, great to see you, my friend. Thank you. It's good bear. D-Bud Martin, what's up, bud? Saw you over there at Paulie's chat. Paulie Latino Slant said it's still going on. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to go, but obviously I had to run to get the show started here. So hope he can handle it without me. I'll try to go over there and help wrench as much as I can with it for him while I'm doing this. And speaking of wrenching, the great Chris Persia is here. What's up, Chris? You the man. The greatest of all wrenches, a Canadian master. Good to see you, buddy. Mark DeBlassie, what's up, bud? Man, long time no talk. Well, at least since Sunday anyway. Hope you're doing great. Well, no, Tuesday. That's right. Had a great time, by the way. I should thank the wonderful, the beautiful Lorena Creole for having me on yesterday. Yesterday was on 3 streams. this is about 17 or 18 days straight that I've streamed on somewhere or another, whether it was just my show, and I only do 4 of my own a week, or the being a very honored guest on after being graciously asked on many other shows. So a day don't go that I don't stream somewhere. And yesterday, though, I was on 3 of them. I was very fortunate to be asked by Paulie and Andre on the great Tom Connor's birthday stream that they had yesterday for him. It was Tom. Happy birthday again, Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge, and I was honored to be there. And then Mark D and I and a couple other friends were on with Fat Steven and on Lorena's wonderful channel. The beautiful lady had us. We talked about some collectibles. That was a lot of fun. Apollo Me's Minion, good to see you, my dear. And then last night, Loki's Comic Book Roundtable. I had a lot of fun with that gang as well. They're all amazing. D-Bud. Well, I said it, but I'll say it again. D-Bud Martin, always good to see you. Ironcaster, what's up, buddy? Elagabalus. Hello there. Alex James, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Steve Mitchum, yo, bro. Good to see you, bud. Let's see who else is here. Getting close to current air. Captain Cockney Spock. Well, now it says Captain Hipster Spock. So either way you want to call it, buddy. Captain, good to see you. Thank you for being here. $877 Elagabalus. I must have lost one. Must have angered someone. Oh, well, thank you there, G-Man. We had a good time doing that. I mean, I called you G-Man. Sorry, dude. I'm old and senile. J-Man, brother, I appreciate that. We had a lot of fun, man. They're all just opinions after. There were some strange things that went on in that chat because I had a lot of new people there, and that's going to happen. But I sure appreciate everyone who showed up there, though. The great Pat S. What's up, brother? It's good to see you, buddy. I'm almost caught up, everyone. Hang on. I think I'm finally caught up now. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, just some open geek foolishness here tonight. Phantom Outsider. Well, that's the way it goes, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's see here. What in the hell's going on? Okay. I was just checking to see what's going on with Paulie and the gang there. Doesn't look like he has anybody over there helping him wrench at the moment. So let me go up and try to help him a little bit here again, just for a sec. You know, because he is my buddy and he's been a good friend of the channel. And none of his other. Well, I know Eric was over there for a while, but I'm not sure what's going on. So let's see here. I'm not sure who all's over there now. But no, I'm getting back to it, everyone. I was just needed to help Paulie there a little bit because he doesn't seem to have anybody helping him with some of his links and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on. I don't think he's going to be on much longer. But no, I just that's why I moved the show back because I didn't want to let him down. I wanted to help him out a little bit, and I had just open Geek Talk anyway. So let's see here. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, where be I? Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, Mark D, with the C multitasking like Mr. Fantastic. You know what I did? You ever get in a weird mood and you watch a movie or movies that you haven't seen in a long time, and you don't know what's wrong with you. You can watch something new, but I don't really like watching new stuff anyway. Just a normie, welcome, good to see you. Well, last night I watched a couple of movies that I don't really like that much, and I wanted to see how they would. It's been about. Oh, I don't know. Maybe since they came out, pretty much. This is, 2000. One was 2005, one was 2003. Seven. Yeah, Captain Spock. Well, and I did it, I guess, because of our topic that Michael and I were talking about the other night. Okay, the other night, as you may or may not know, we did our ranking of the Zach 7. Good to see you, my friend. We did our rankings of the Marvel, the 23 MCU films, as you know. Now, I don't have a list of Michael's ratings, or I would give you those. So I'm just going to run mine down real quick and then explain what, about a film a couple of movies I went to watch that were out. There were Marvel films, but not MCU films. Because MCU, of course, Marvel Studios, that of course refers to anything owned by Marvel Studios, which was later acquired by Disney, which were the 23 films from Iron Man on up to Avengers End Game. And we ranked them for those who don't. And I think a lot of you were here, so I won't go too far into back into that because you all know. But I'm going to just go over my ranking real quick there. We ranked them from what I call worst to first. So 23 on down. And our lists were not all that different. I think 3 or 4 times we actually had, quote unquote, a tie. It's in other words, a film at the same spot. So I'm going to go quickly here and recap it. Because, and since it was Memorial Day the other night, I guess in a sense we were having a memorial for the Marvel Universe, since it's pretty much dead. It's the MCU now. And it kind of was building, it was kind of heading that way to the, after Phase 4 or whatever for a while. But for almost a little over a decade there were some really good, within the greatest films but there were some really good, entertaining films that were very true, at least in spirit, if not always visually, to the comic book material, which is really only important to a comic book geek like moi. So, and Michael I didn't get his list, so I know he would forgive me for not knowing it off the top of my head. Hey, Fat-Headed Druid, what's up? So I'm just going to go through mine really quickly. But I'm not in depth like we pretty much did the other night. So my 23 is the stinker Captain Marvel. Absolute disgrace to the good name of Captain Marvel, even the Marvel version, Marvel. Annette Bening's not Captain Marvel. The degradation of not only the great character of Nick Fury, the horrible, degradation of the Skrulls, and a lame, very boring character. The Carol Danvers character played by Brie Larson is boring, has no art, nothing. This is a bad film. In my opinion, this is a terrible movie. Nerdporial Life Form, welcome. My number 22 was Black Panther. A big-time disappointment to me. I love the character from the old days, of course, created by Kirby. The Don McGregor run, in particular in the early 70s, was excellent. I really liked Chadwick Boseman's performance in Civil War. And this one, he was pretty much, he was kind of just he was the third stringer in his own film. He was, T'Challa was one of the smartest men in the Marvel universe. In this one, he wasn't smart because they gave the smarts to his annoying sister. Yes, I know his sister was in the comic, but T'Challa was dumbed down in this one in favor of her. The Dora Milaje was given more of a spotlight than him. They squandered their usage of villains, especially Claw. There's a lot of bad CGI and very little intriguing comic book action, in my opinion. My number 22, Spider-Man Far From Good. Liger fan, what's up? And I thought it was a disgrace what they did to Black Panther in that one, and I thought this was a disgrace. I do not like the MCU version of Superman. I don't have a problem with Tom Holland. He would be well cast, even though I thought he was okay in Civil War and Infinity War, but in his own 2 films, it's too much of Iron Spider-Boy. And this film is a crashing bore, in my opinion. My number 23. My number 20. 22, 21. 20 is Spider-Man Homecoming for much the same reason. He's Iron Spider-Boy. It's not compelling at all. It's not this Peter Parker, the Spider-Man I grew up loving. So the movie, while it may have some entertaining bits, he just doesn't need a suit like that. It absolutely rearranges the Peter Parker character. It's just not the same. Let's see here what we got going on. So let's see here. And, it's really just not Spider-Man. This was kind of a weird one for me. My number 19 is Avengers End Game. So many wonderful, great scenes in it. But as I said to Michael the other night, so many horrible, bad decisions and bad conclusions to these characters. Some unbelievable, again, like I said, some unbelievably wonderful bits. All completely defeated by so many bad takes. The horrible way they ended Captain America's career. If you're going to kill Tony Stark, it might at least have a little bit more weight at least they didn't destroy his character the way they did Captain America by him quitting. Cap's not a quitter. Killing Black Widow, such a disappointment. You didn't have to do that. Just, again, every time they tug your heartstrings, they find a way to crap on you, and turning Thor into a clown, as they did, was not funny, and it was a bad joke that went on way too long, in my opinion. My number 18 is, let's see, Iron Man 3. I used to actually think 2 was worse, but this is actually worse. Iron Man 3. Not just the destruction of the Mandarin villain and the horrible way they handled him. This movie also has a stiflingly uninteresting villain in Extremis. Was it Aldrich Killian or whatever? Some terrible, horrible characterization of Tony Stark. It's boring. It's ridiculous. It's filled with, there's no real excitement in this film. Just a bunch of, the thing that stands out most is all of the terrible characterization decisions made for Iron Man. Next, I guess this is 17. Thor: The Dark World. Do I really need to explain it? Really? Yeah. Next, 16. Ant-Man and Wasp. Yeah, has some entertaining moments. I kind of like her as the Wasp. I really like Paul Rudd. It's relatively enjoyable because now we're getting to a stage where some of these movies have a little more entertainment value here and there. But for the most part, kind of subjugates Ant-Man a bit too much. And he, yes, it's funny the way they kind of pissed off at him at first, but they kind of wimped him out and they kind of, smacked him around a little bit too much. This was some very early bits and, beginnings of the MCU elements there. Next, I guess we're at 15. Thor Ragnarok. Probably entertaining enough to be higher. Because it has a lot of entertaining stuff, some nice even Kirby nods here and there. But Thor, again, some of the stuff they did to the character of Thor just aggravates me no end. Destroying Mjolnir and him not getting it back. You're not the god of hammers. You're the god, god of thunder. Shut up with that crap. Terrible casting of Valkyrie. It is actually a very entertaining film, but there's so many, much like Endgame, which has all kind of great entertaining moments. There's just so many things that really aggravate me that I thought were bad decisions made in this film. And again, setting more of the tone for Thor the Clown, which I have a problem with. Next, Iron Man 2 Electric Boogaloo. I really, really hated this film for a long time. Now I don't like it. I dislike it. But it has even less things that annoy me than the previous films that I just mentioned. At number 14. And it just, Mickey Rourke is almost impossible to watch without throwing up. He's absolutely horrible. It was garbage the way they mixed his villain, and he should have just been the Crimson Dynamo instead of Whiplash. It was lame. Everything about the villain was lame. Some of the character stuff, though, was pretty good. Getting to see the beginning of Black Widow was pretty good. There are some good character moments that they tried to put in there, but it ultimately really has no compelling story. And it was an extremely flawed movie. You could argue less entertaining than the two previous films. A couple of the previous films I mentioned, just not as much annoying crap in it as those. That's why it got a little bit higher. It's still a very flawed film. Very flawed movies. A lot of these are. 14 is The Incredible Hulk. I don't mind this movie that much. I found this movie fairly entertaining. Far better, and again, it's a low bar, matching up against the Ang Lee piece of garbage from 2003. What was it called? It's simply entitled Hulk. But this at least is a more cogent, coherent story than that. It's nothing world-beating. It's not, certainly could have been a lot better. But I didn't find as many. It was fairly enjoyable. I didn't find as many things that really annoyed me, except, really, as I did in the previous films that I've just mentioned. Hence, its position on the list. 13. Oops. Let's see here. Thor. Oops. Yeah, I got one of them mixed up. Sorry. That was 13. I'm at 12, right? I'm get the number. I'm just gonna stop saying numbers. You'll know. I'll keep getting the numbers wrong. I don't have it. I don't have the list in front of me. That was noisy. All right. Well, here we go. Where I'm at. Okay. 13. This is 12. I'm at 12, right? 12. Yeah. Okay. 12 is Thor. Pretty decent origin story. I used to have a lot of problems with the second half of it and the way it dealt with all the him on Earth stuff, but it's a little more palatable as time has gone on. Maybe movies are just so much worse now, but there's a lot of good stuff in the first half of it. And I think Hemsworth, again, this is at least before a lot of the MCU crap. Now we're getting into the territory where there's far less MCU, Feige doing MCU crap that's ruining these films. So I thought, on balance, it was pretty entertaining. Let's see here. 11. Yeah, I was going in a different order, sorry. 11, I got Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Electric Boogaloo. A very, very entertaining film. Oops, sorry. That's not 11. That's 10. 11 was Ant-Man. I got my pictures in the wrong order. Sorry, everyone. And maybe I got them backwards the other night too. I can't remember. It was going so fast. But Ant-Man, thoroughly entertaining film from back to front, a fun origin story. I'm, aside from my geek nitpick of having it be Scott Lang instead of Hank Pym, who in my opinion should have been introduced into the Marvel Universe first, I found it to be very, very, very enjoyable. And so at 10, let's see here. 10. I think we're at 10. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we're at 10. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Electric Boogaloo. Again, this is, again, one of those movies that just does what it's supposed to do as a superhero film. Quite entertaining. Certainly, if I had any criticism, it would be that it's a little over the top with the James Gunn humor and the poopy humor and crap like that, and the potty humor. I mean, some of it it's hit or miss sometimes. The music, of course, is fantastic, I believe. And overall, the characterization is really, really good, and that's the key with all these films. That's why Captain Marvel's so bad. It doesn't just destroy characters. The characters that it doesn't really destroy are flat and they don't have anything. They're not interesting. They make you like these characters. So I do like this film a lot. And I like my number 9, even a little bit better. And that's, of course, the first film, Guardians of the Galaxy. I just actually watched that again today. Again, some of the same issues. A little over the top stuff for these characters, but in terms of some of the humor, but it's a highly entertaining film. And that's what these movies ultimately are supposed to be, are they not? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we're at 8. Okay. Number 8, Doctor Strange. Another origin film, but this is not like Batman or Superman or Spider-Man where the origins are getting tiresome for me. The origins are necessary. And in this case, quite well done. And just a great casting all around, as we talked about the other night. So I really, really enjoyed Doctor Strange. It was a pleasant surprise. A great casting. Number 7, Captain America Civil War. This film is an absolute and utter wreck and a mess and a story that really did not need to be done. And yet, except for some clunkiness at the beginning of the first quarter of the film, it rocks itself to the point where it's so entertaining to watch. There's so many great action set pieces that are superhero set pieces. And, hey, that's what superhero films are for. It does a wonderful job of introducing Black Panther, even though it didn't continue. It didn't follow up on that, unfortunately, with the Black Panther film itself. But Chadwick Boseman is terrific as Black Panther. He's better in this. It doesn't really do a great job with the character of Zemo, but he's useful enough. And the movie's, again, filled with lots of ultimately it's unsatisfactory in many of and its overall story, but some of the slam bang entertainment of it puts it up there because it has a lot of the great fun that we want from a superhero movie, in my opinion. Crucible the Crazed, welcome. Good to see you. Let's see here. 6 was Captain America, the First Avenger. I love this film. I agree with Michael. Michael has some problems with the way the last quarter of it went down. Bit of a montage, as he's often said. It was kind of choppy at the end there. At least, in that big montage scene, doesn't really pass time or condense it the well it should. But this is one of the most beautiful origins stories of a superhero ever. And I was very skeptical going into it. Joe Johnston did a fabulous job, in my opinion. I love this film. I just really do. I do admit that there could have been a little bit more meat on the bones toward the last half hour or last quarter, a little bit more, or, you could have done a little more to the flesh out. That I wanted to know that Captain America had been around a lot longer. They kind of condensed that a little bit, but that's a minor nitpick. This is a wonderful film, in my opinion, and a surprisingly great casting of Cap. Number 5 for me is Avengers Age of Ultron. Excuse me. That's not number 5. We got it backwards. Number 5 is, it's Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm sorry. I was going backwards. I'm messing things up from the order. That's okay. We're just going to talk about it. We're almost done anyway. I could get my own order screwed up because I'm not looking at the page. So it doesn't matter. I loved Avengers Age of Ultron. We talked about this the other night with Michael. I do not understand the hatred this film gets, nor do I agree with it. I just think it's thoroughly entertaining with so much great superhero action and interaction as well that it just I can watch it over and over again. I absolutely love this film. And yes, I'm confusing my order a little bit for the sake of time, but it's close enough. Next, the final 3, of course, The Avengers, as they call it. These posters, by the way, whatever happened to Drew Struzan, but anyway, these are not the greatest of posters, but they're representations. They're fine. I actually love this film. It was like the last chapter in a Saturday morning serial. It mopped things up beautifully. Michael thinks that's kind of a thin story. I would agree with that, except it was supposed to. It was the mop up. So I actually do love. I love the Avengers. I love this film, and again, this was the first of the. I mean, this was just gigantic in terms of how it made me feel like a kid again. Like a kid, the thing I wanted to see since I was 8 years old: superheroes in real life fighting on an epic scale, and that's what I love about this film. I really do love it. We're in the past few we've been into, we're in the part of the MC universe that I love, love, love. And my number 3 is Iron Man. Good God, this film is a classic. This film is brilliant. What a great way. You could not start this universe out any better. Enough said, right? Great, great origin story. My number 2 is, of course, Avengers Infinity War. Michael didn't like it as much as I did, but he liked it. But I love it, in spite of a few quirks here and there and a few flaws that are so minimal and almost not worth mentioning. And, look, my all-time favorite film, The Empire Strikes Back, really technically doesn't have an ending, and this one doesn't either, and that doesn't affect it. Some of the most unparalleled, brilliant superhero action. Some of the greatest, gigantic, spectacular scenes I've ever seen in a film in terms of superhero action. I just really loved it. It's a shame that it went the way it did in the second part, but, that's kind of a familiar pattern with me. Return of the Jedi. But I love it. And, of course, my number 1 of the MCU. This is probably as close as you'll get for an MCU film being a masterpiece, in my opinion. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is it's a perfect superhero film, or as close as you can get to it, especially, or at least a perfect of a Marvel character. It has it all. It works on every single kind of level. And it has, is it dark? There's dark there. And yet it's funny, they managed to walk a pretty good tightrope of having some dark stuff, certainly some very realistic violence. Hail Darius Munchausen, good to see you. And yet it also never forgets it's a comic book film. Not an easy task for any film to do. Infinity War never had to be reminded that it was a comic book film. And neither did a lot of the other ones. This one walked into territory like 70s spy thriller territory and other things where it did have to kind of remind itself it was a comic book film, and it did it beautifully. This is a magnificent film. Elagabalus, you haven't seen Winter Soldier. I just watched it again the other day for I don't know how many times. So I love it. Anyway, but I had a great time doing this. And the reason why I just wanted to recap that a little bit because I was watching. Because I was watching these films. Eric K, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, bro. And now I couldn't really see everything that was going on in the chat because I wanted to focus on getting that out of the way. But now I promise everyone I will start looking at what you guys are saying. Let's see here. JT Kirk, you must have missed it. Both Guardians films are on my list. I believe I had 2 at number 2, Guardians 2 at 10 or something, and or 11 or 10, and I had them back to back. And then the first Guardians only one notch higher. So now's the part where, if you weren't laughing at me for my silly list, now you can laugh at me for something I did last night. Oh boy, I don't know. I guess it was weird. I guess because we've been talking about those Marvel films. I don't know what it was, but I went and watched. Well, you all know you can probably just take a wild guess at what a Fantastic Four fan I am. And anyone who knows me knows I'm kind of rough on the things that I when people adapt them. Well, as we all know, in 2000, I believe 5, and then 2007, Sony made 2 Fantastic Four films with the title Fantastic Four in them anyway. One was Fantastic Four, one was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. As you could imagine, I went to the theaters to see them both times. Once back then, and after that, I can't remember if I ever watched them again. Well, that's a bit of a long time ago, wasn't it? I don't think I ever watched them again. I may have. And my general disposition towards them was like, I have a lot of pride. I like things here and there, but Minimus is here. Minimus says, watched Iron Man the other. Yeah, I watched Iron Man a couple days ago again, and it's even better. I agree. It's great. There you go, Persia. You're right, Chris. So last night I watched both films. I was just sitting around. I have someone else's codes to the Disney app because I never bought the films. I just don't like them. But I watched them anyway. My opinions didn't change a whole lot of the Fantastic Four films. But my opinions of them back then are kind of the same as now. There was so much more they needed. So many flaws, and there were a few things that were kind of okay in them. Like Minimus says, it's true. If you can buy the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer DVD, there's a great Kirby documentary on there. So things wrong with the two Sony Fantastic Four films. We'll start with things wrong. How about that? Horrible miscasting and terrible writing of the character of Dr. Victor Von Doom. It just, I don't know what they were thinking with that casting, much less the way they wrote him. I fully understand you can't, if you're going to set it in modern day, you can't have the same plot of them trying to beat the Russians into space by stealing a spaceship. Eric. So, but putting them on the space station thing, that was perfectly fine. Having Doom there with them to get powers as well was asinine. There's so many bad decisions made in this script. So many bad decisions. And right now, I'm just talking about the first film. Another bad thing about it. Treating their powers as a disease or symptoms. Now, it's one thing it is FF established lore that Reed wants to quote unquote cure Ben and turn it back into a human. But the fact is, when they got their powers, Reed didn't treat them like they were an illness. He knew that they could use them to benefit mankind and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, wanting to cure, wanting to help turn Ben back human. So that was bad. Let's talk about the casting. Young Graffold, don't know how you say his name, Graffod or whatever. I think he's passable as Reed. He was okay. Good actor. It was a young Reed, but all right. No problem with him. Jessica Alba. She's been picked on a little bit, and I'm not just saying this because she's a beautiful woman. She really is a beautiful woman, by the way. And she was beautiful and fine. I think she's okay in the role. I love Sue. Again, could you have cast her better? Certainly. As a matter of fact, the lady that played Debbie, Ben's made-up, girlfriend at the beginning, I forget her name now, off the top of my head, the actress, kind of looked more like someone I would have cast more as Sue than her. But, Jessica was fine. And, of course, beautiful. Chris Evans could not have been better. No one could have ever been better cast as Johnny Storm, in my opinion. He's so good as Johnny Storm in both films. He's perfect as the character. So much so that when he got cast as Captain America, I was really worried. I'm like, dude, that dude can't be Captain America. He's Johnny Storm. It's too much like that won't work. And of course, I think he was fantastic as Cap. But I was really concerned about that when he was cast. Michael Chiklis is my favorite character of the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. Okay, here's your mistake. Now, Michael Chiklis is a fantastic actor. Fantastic. But the thing, Ben Grimm is, like I say this all the time, he's supposed to be this big, muscle-bound, big man on campus type. He was a football star. I mean, he was supposed to be a contemporary of Reed, and this one, it looks like he's 10 years older or more than Reed. Still, his performance is great. Don't get me wrong, his performance is great. But Ben is supposed to be that. He's not supposed to, as Ben, he doesn't look like Michael Chiklis. He's supposed to look, almost more like Julian McMahon, almost, who wasn't a good casting at all anyway. But I mean, more like that, to be honest. So, what am I looking at? Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a little distraction there. But he still did a great job as a character. Fine. I didn't really like the design of Ben very much as the Thing, by the way. The design of the Thing, I really don't like the way it looked. Didn't like their costumes. Thought they wasted way too much time in the beginning of the film, half of the film, whining about having power. Except for Johnny, he acted just like Johnny. They spent no time establishing anything after it got done. This film is hackneyed. The script is rushed. I love the lady playing Alicia. Yeah, I know they changed her, but I mean, yeah, that was fine. Ben running around, some of the stuff with Ben as the Thing later when he's running, some of that's pretty good. Again, some of the characterization's not too bad as far as the FF. The characterization of Victor Von Doom's horrible. But Torch and Thing are great. That is typical Ben and Johnny relationship. All the stuff with the four in terms of their interrelationships and their family relationship, all that stuff was great. I mean, that was perfectly on point. Didn't like their uniforms. Didn't like all that crap about treating their powers like an illness. They really did not establish themselves as a superhero group or anything like that. They never really give you enough in terms of these guys are really the Fantastic Four. Just all of a sudden out of nowhere, really a lot of slapdash, bad scripting of, the media just calls them the Fantastic Four and names him Mr. Fantastic for some reason, the Invisible Woman. They actually said Invisible Girl once. The media is naming them and all that stuff. They just say it a couple of times. They never really show any of that stuff. They never show them becoming Imaginauts, to coin that term that who was coined by a guy who wrote the book well for a while, turned into a dummy, Wade. But and then is it in a very unsatisfactory ending. It felt like a rushed TV show. It was a very underwhelming film with, again, the only things going for it is they had a pretty good core group there, and they were written like the FF. The characters were written like that, but it's as if, and so they got that right. Yet the thing never really takes off, and there's a very unsatisfactory ending. And I watched it to see if I would have any kind of different reaction. And then you get Silver Surfer, the Rise of the Silver Surfer, a couple of years later. And I watched that right after it. And both films, I guess, are watchable enough that just you watch them, but mostly I watched them in frustration going, why didn't they have somebody that on the set who understands the Fantastic Four? I mean, who understands not only they did, again, to be fair, they got some of the characterizations right. So I guess I should say understands that you can't just just put those characters alone and expect for the movie to be exciting. It's good to get the characters right, and they did a decent job with that, with casting and some of the writing of the characters. But then you drop the ball completely by not having a compelling story. Elagabalus says, why is the Silver Surfer so cool? The second FF movie did nothing for the character. Absolutely, it did nothing for the character. Absolutely right. The second movie is also the same deal. Characterization and everything from the cast is fine for the most part. They don't have an established type of a universe yet where no one's really treated. They're celebrities now. We're supposed to believe they've been doing this and having adventures for a while, but they don't really give you any concept of that. So that all the character stuff, when it's just doing that, the movie's okay, and that's when it's at its best. Doom is even more annoying in the second film, if that's possible. I don't know. It may be more annoying in the first one. Silver Surfer looks cool at times. I think the biggest problem is by the time they got to the end, the last half of the film, where they're supposed to give a payoff and explain Galactus, his explanation of Galactus doesn't really do much for you because we never get to see Galactus. You can't write a movie where Galactus is your main threat and then not have Galactus in it. And the cloud does not count. Nothing is explained about Galactus, especially. First of all, okay, mildly amusing, if silly, bit where the Johnny's confrontation or first confrontation with the Surfer causes them to keep switching powers around. Doom stealing the Surfer's power. Now, it's been done in the comics. It was more believable in the comics because Byrne it was Kirby. But I mean, I was talking about Doom. I said Byrne because Byrne can be the Doom of FF sometimes. Doom, you can believe the comic book Dr. Doom stealing the Silver Surfer's power cosmic. You could buy into it because he could. Not this one, though. There's no proper establishment of Victor Von Doom in the first film that is explained or paid off for in the second film. Therefore, he's still a garbage character. Everyone else is fine. Doom is terrible. So I can't buy into him stealing the Silver Surfer's powers. They don't show you anything in the first film about Doom to make you believe he's a genius that can do that. In the comic, he is. Yes, Elagabalus Galactus is, well, he's not so much a supervillain. He's a force of nature. I will show you a picture of Galactus. And I'll show you why he's not a cloud. I will pull up a picture here. Yeah. And I'll show you why he's not a freaking cloud. He's a godlike being, a force of nature. Who went to a planet. He basically sucks the energy out of planets, for lack of a better term. He eats planets. Dadman Walking 55, good to see you. And he goes to a planet called Zenla, a planet of peace and wonderment throughout the cosmos, a beacon of peace in the universe. And a gentleman by the name of Norin Rad strikes a deal with him that he would become his herald and help him find planets to sustain him. And his intention is to find planets that are uninhabited so no one will be hurt. But Galactus, when he creates him and turns him into the Silver Surfer, wipes his memory, so he just becomes a mindless, slave of Galactus, his herald, and he is going to planets to lead Galactus there to consume. I don't know if you like animation or cartoons, but you should watch the Silver Surfer cartoon. It's a great one. Elagabalus, no, Darkseid is not really the equivalent of Galactus in the DC universe. Kirby did create both of them, but Darkseid is pure evil and he wants the anti-life equation. He wants to wipe out all of life. Galactus is not really evil or good. He doesn't have a morality to speak of. He just wants to consume planets, and to us, or to him, rather, planets are, people are nothing. Beings are nothing to him. He's just, his own existence matters. More amoral than anything else. and he's had many heralds after Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer has been referred to as the cosmic crybaby by some because he's pretty but I love him, by the way. I love Silver Surfer. So anyway, when you use Galactus as your main problem. Exactly, Phantom Outsider. Galactus is a force of nature. He doesn't have an evil agenda so much as Darkseid does. But when you use Galactus, it's bad enough they're making him a cloud. But you at the end of the film, which again has mildly entertaining moments and bits, it was even kind of funny when Johnny turned into the Super Skrull and used all the FF powers to beat the crap out of Doom. But I can't believe this version of Doom stealing the Surfer's powers. In the comics, yes. But the friggin' cloud is garbage. Galactus being a cloud is absolute trash because he has no personality. And another thing, remember, Galactus gave the Silver Surfer his powers. How then does Silver Surfer decide to fly up into Galactus and stop him? He just flew up into him and the threat was ended. No ultimate nullifier, no watcher, just, wait a minute. So this is basically like he's imbued with the power cosmic, is the Silver Surfer. That means the Galactus gave him his power. That means he has no chance. He's a gnat compared to Galactus. But in the end of this film, the idiots who wrote it just had no conception of how to end it. They wrote themselves into a trick box. This is supposed to be Reed Richards, with the help of the Watcher, finding a way to chase Galactus off. And the Surfer just flies up into the damn cloud and it's dead. I guess. They don't really tell you shit. This has got to be one of the sloppiest, actually one of the most idiotic endings to any film I've ever seen. I mean, in any ever. Because there's no conclusion to it. They don't tell you what he did to Galactus. And how can the Surfer beat Galactus? How? Because the script said so, dummy. Okay, gotcha. And again, this movie on balance was more entertaining until that point than the first one. But both of them are so shoddy. They both are replete with examples of how you don't write the Fantastic Four. A Fantastic Four story. Especially since your characters and your casting wasn't so bad, in my opinion. It was the most asinine ending I've ever seen to anything. And that's saying something, folks. So, point being that those FF films, while certainly not as bad as Fan 4 Stick, but what is. Yeah, and a lot of your fan, there is kind of a lot of Ultimate FF in there too, which I don't like. I have a few Silver Surfer action figures. I have the big one that Toy Biz did, like the big 12-inch figure that they did a bunch of those special ones back in the 90s. I have that one. I have a bunch of Silver Surfer figures there, Pat. In fact, to switch gears here a little bit, if you guys want to, yesterday, as I told you all earlier, yesterday I've been streaming a lot. I mean, I've been on so many streams lately. Huh. Oh, there we go. Like something like 18 days straight now. I've been so many streams. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Okay. I think I've yeah. All right. So let me get rid of this. All right, everyone. I've been in so many streams lately, but yesterday I was asked on the wonderful Lorena Creole stream. We were just showing some, it was all about collectibles, and I didn't have anything ready really. And there's nobody on this planet that could compete with the great Mark D with a C. His collection is extraordinary. Beyond compare. Beyond compare. So I didn't know really what to show, so I don't have much. But I can show a few figures that I have now. Let's see here. Bop, 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 bop. All right. Oh, weird. Okay. So who wants to see some geek figures? Probably nobody, but I'll show them anyway, because what else we got to do here tonight? Well, this is open talk, man. We're just screwing around. Let's see. How about first up, we show some Avengers figures. All right. Well, everyone loves figures, don't they? I cannot compete with Mark D with a C, by the way. But I have a few. Let's see here. All right. We're going to start out with the Avengers. And I guarantee you I will probably not show you one figure that Mark D does not have. I was having a bit of okay, here we go. All right, sorry, everyone. I'm distracted here. I don't know. Let's see that. All right. See if that's working. All right. Who wants to see some Avengers? That's some Avengers. Yeah. All right. There's the gang. The gang's all here. Avengers Assemble. That was just like a big hodgepodge of a bunch of them. This one here is from the Avengers #1 big special book set they got. Again, I know you got this one, Mark. I kind of messed up on the Hulk a little bit. It's kind of tiny. It was the early days, though. Oh, and I couldn't find Ant-Man at that point. I lost him. I got lost somewhere. There's some Silver to Bronze Agers. Some caps. Some Thors. Those of all sizes. Some irons. Some Hulks. Some Black Panther, T'Challa. A little bit of Marvel there. All right, this was a while back. They actually have since that I've gotten another Marvel, a Marvel Legends one. So I guess I have 4 now. Some smaller Avengers, including the only one that's not a part of that set. That Yellow Jacket's a Hero Clicks, but what the hell? Yeah, how about some Fantasticar? Actually, I'll get to the Fantasticar first. I got my Bronze Age Legion set. Matty Collector Legion set. The PVC set Legion on top of the Matty Collector Clubhouse box. A Jack Kirby Collector comic. I don't know how that got in there, but I love it. A Star Trek calendar from 2014. Don't know how that got there. Some Doctor Who books. How'd those get there? I don't know. Some Doctor Who stuff. If anyone can see that on that black Dalek, that's that keychain right there. That's my Doctor. That's my 4th Doctor keychain that's been on my keychains for since 1982, I think. And that Legion set D. Bud Martin, there were 12 in the Matty Collector one from 2011. That set's going for $400 or $500, $600 now, I guess. Now we got some Fantasticar. Well, I had some Fantasticar. There we go. Whoops. I'm sure, Mark, you have this. I'm sure you got this Fantasticar, huh, dude? I mean, you probably just didn't see it when you showed it. Or I just can't remember that you probably showed it. Elagabalus? No, they're all just piled up in a room somewhere for the most part, buddy. I haven't messed with them in a long time. Oh, D-Bud, you're kidding me. You got that one too? Greatness. And yes, I agree with Mark D with the see that Hercules Prince of Power miniseries was by Bob Layton was fantastic. Let's see here. Here's some pictures of this. Well, this is kind of goes away from toys a little bit, but this is me on the bridge of the Farragut / Enterprise. Circa 19, 2013. This is me at the Starship Farragut. On the set where they filmed Starship Farragut and Star Trek Continues. Sick bay. It's not figures, but these are cool pictures. Man, this was like, being on this set, I felt like it was I'd been transported to 1966, 67, 68 on the Enterprise. Mark D with the C knows what that is. There's me. I beamed up, and I wasn't even on a transporter pad. I didn't want to break it. Kirk's office. The Farragut. But it doubled as the Enterprise, of course. There's a Jeffries, too. There's my wonderful friend Kim, who was selling stuff at the con. Another friend. There's the Romulan bridge. There's the controls of the shuttlecraft interior. And there's stormtroopers and a Next Generation guy on the bridge. I don't know what they were doing there. They were wrong franchise, guys. Yeah. It was called Farragut Fest. There's a cute girl. There's a Spock's Viewmaster. I haven't looked at these in a long time. Another hot chick. She was fun. Experience of a lifetime, this was, I'm telling you. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. I don't know. Just hadn't looked at him for a while. What the hell? I figured we're playing a little show and tell. We ain't doing nothing tonight, really. There she is again. There's that dumbass right there. I don't know who he is. Oh, that's me. Oh. Yeah, buddy. They had some ladies there, man. There were some ladies there, buddy. It was a wonderful time. That was December 2013, and that was just amazing. Anyway, what the hell happened? Now I really don't know what happened. What the hell's wrong with you? Well, let me get out. Well, anyway, guys, sorry about that. I was just showing, I don't know, getting to showing those pictures. I was gonna show toys, and I saw the Star Trek ones, and I thought, what the hell? Because I mean, are you like me? And a lot of you might not use Facebook much, but I put a lot of pictures up there. And then yesterday, let's see here. Oh, yeah. All of your troubles did seem so far away. Here they are. A few more. Again, am I drunk? No. Yeah, I've never been drunk, dumbass. And you know it. There you go. Some Batman, some Supermans, even a little Thor, a little Robbie the Robot. Now that one, of course, is not just the Matty Collector Bronze Age Legion set, but the PVCs are on top, and the Silver and the Superboy family PVCs are down there with also the DC Direct Silver Age Legion figures. Oops. Superman. Lone Rangers and Tonto. No, actually, Invisible Kid's on there. Mark, believe it or not, look. There's no Bronze Age Invisible Kid anyway, by the way, till later, and that's Jock Folkart. But are you guys seeing the mouse? You know that slot that I told you about where the stupid invisible kid was going to be, where they put a bubble for him? Well, if you look at the mouse right there, you see my mouse when I do that? Because if you are, that is the Silver Age invisible kid that they thought they were being funny by putting him there. These idiots just did that to waste of space. But there's Lyle Norg right there, the at the time and forever sadly deceased invisible kid. But you knew that, Mark. So, yeah. Mark knows the story there. Who wants to see some Thor statue? A pager? I don't have one anymore. No, Crucible the Craze, that is definitely not the Johnny Depp. I have not even watched that movie. '50s Batmobile. More bats and soups. Everyone like my Batman lawn ornament? That's a big bastard right there, that Batman statue. Minimus would be correct. I still do have still have that box that Thor came in. That's true. Well, that's true, Phantom Outsider. Lyle was killed by Validus. Crucible, that is that's the Adam West Burt Ward figure. Let me find it again. Yes, they're hanging on the wall right there. I got the special wall hanging, climbing up the wall edition of that figure 2-pack. I love that. Now, I know these are a couple that my buddy Mark D has. The Galactus fighting the FF and the Heroes. The Mole Man Monster. A little bit in the background, you can see Robbie back there. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to prop up the guy in the back. The guy on the motorcycle that you can see back here, that is Steve McQueen's Cooler King character from The Great Escape. There's Thor again. Little clearer shot of the whole statue there. And Ricky Jackson in the background. A couple of Golden Age Batman. I don't think anybody put the that 40s Batmobile together. It came that way. Wasn't it steel? It's not a model. It's a toy, not a model. There's the Legion again. There's the Legion. Oh, you can see Mordru and Validus and Tyr. And somehow Adam West is a member of the Legion now. And there are the Defenders. They are dynamic, aren't they? Take it easy, Elagabalus. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here, bud. So let's see. There's Black Bolt is very angry but he loves the Poly Latino Slant coffee cub there. please. And if he's saying, Black Bolt is about to yell, please subscribe to Latino Slant. And there's Robbie. There's Robbie again. There's Thundar and Commandy. And back here you can see the Cylon head for the original Battlestar Galactica series DVD set from the early 2000s or whatever. But even they're standing on a Galactica model right there. Let's see here. My FF statues. I can't afford statues like everybody else. Oh, you can even see in the background, if you look down, you can see the Firefly ship Serenity. But I had to have these FF statues, late 90s, I believe, in the Kirby bust, of course. And if you look to the left, you can barely see the little one Fantastic Car tub thing with Underdog and Bullwinkle and Charlie Brown's. Never you can't see him. The Third Doctor is popping into the background there of Jack Kirby and the Thing. I didn't get Iron Giant. I wish I had. Things. Now, this, of course, not only pales in comparisons to how many Thing toys that my buddy Mark D with the C has, but that's okay. I'm going to be stealing his. Kidding. But I had a few. I've had more somewhere. So I don't know where all of them more are, but still. Things and stuff. Thing Hulk fights. Because we have to have Thing Hulk fights, folks. It's just the way it is. My Legion of Superheroes clock. Before I put the hands on it, obviously. But I got it at a con somewhere. Which robot do you refer to, Mark D with a C? And so that's back around to the front there. Yeah. Anyway. The only other thing I have is my Watchman figures. From Maddie Collector. Robbie, oh hell, Mark D with a C, you can get that at Walmart right now. In most places, it's $20, I think. That Robbie the Robot is still out there. It talks and walks. And it's just like made by the same people who made this new Iron Giant one. It's huge. It has dialogue from the film. It talks and walks, and Walmart's still got a bunch of them, probably. I keep seeing it. I still see it at the store sometimes. It's fantastic. I had to have that. I forgot one thing here, folks. Let's see. My Watchman collection. You know, in days of old, when I actually, in the early 80s, I really loved Alan Moore's Watchmen. Still do, by the way. But I was really nuts about it, and I bought every single bit of memorabilia there was, and there wasn't much. But what there was, I bought it. And I love it. Hey, D. Oberg, good to see you, my friend. Neither does it make Kentucky bourbon, nor does it talk to Earl Holliman.
So here you have the original Watchman hardcover. I didn't get a picture up here yet of the. I do have the Absolute edition at Claw Gaming as well, and a couple of the book club edition. There's the American Watchman portfolio. This is from the European Watchman portfolio, signed by Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, and John Higgins. The only way I'll ever get Alan Moore's autographed, because he's never does cons anymore. And so I got plate number 773 out of 2,000. Whoopee! The German Watchman editions. The French Watchman editions, Les Gardiens. All came out in the late 80s, early 90s. The Watchman button set. I collected it all. The Watchman watch. Watchman gaming modules, and even the tiny little pewter statues. Then in 2013, the Matty Collector came out with these Watchman figures based on the film. Because I didn't really like the ones based on the movie that much, except Rorschach was okay. So these came out per subscription. You had to order like a year or so in advance, and they came out every 2 months. And they're pretty damn good figures. They're very comic book accurate. They came with a lot of stuff. The boxes are very nice. Gotta love Rorschach. So anyway. Yeah, well, what can you do? Again, I was just geeking out here tonight. Nothing special. Just wanted to spend time with you guys. The other night, man, had a huge crowd for the show I did with Michael. That was with Retro Blasting. Michael Retro Blasting was amazing. And there were a lot of new people in. And it was it was kind of a weird situation that I didn't really know what to do with. And I appreciate the help that a lot of you guys gave me. I appreciate everything you do. I try to focus when I'm doing a show with a guest, so I can't really see everything going on. But there was a young lady, as you all know, my Monday night show is called Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk. Hey, Sergeant Slaughterhouse, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. And during the middle of the show Monday night, I can't find the Rorschach costume. Maybe one day. Some young lady expressed outrage that I had my show named after our buddy Mark C. Somehow I was wrong for that, or I was it was weird. It was kind of weirded me out, Pat. And she got on me for a second, but then I explained to her, I guess she thought I was exploiting. I don't know what it was. She was it was kind of uncomfortable. It was kind of weird. Yeah, Snort, she just didn't, I don't know, but she jumped to a conclusion or something that I was using his name for I don't know what it was, but I explained to her we were friends. But a lot of you guys also, were really nice to her, but I explained to her, and I appreciate Chris and all of you who did. It was Julia D too, and I want to thank, and if she does ever pop in, I would love to see her again. I would just, I didn't want her to think I was being short with her. I don't know if she's even listening tonight. I don't think so. But if she ever sees this, I was just, I was taken aback by it. But But I want to thank everyone for explaining it to her and being nice to her. Yeah, very young. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Nothing, no anger at her whatsoever. It was just kind of weirded out by a little bit. And I'm glad you all, you were all very nice to her and handled it and stuff. So, and then she was very nice to her. She was sweet. And again, I don't know how well she knew Mark or anything like that, but, Eric, I don't know if I've ever seen her before, but yeah, I mean, good. Look, and again, no anger at her at all. I was just a little taken aback by first. I've never really, not something I would have expected, but I appreciate that everybody was really kind to her and were nice to her. And I'm glad she popped in. I don't know if she'll ever stop in again, but I sure hope she does. And yeah, so I was thanking everyone for being nice to her, taking care of that, because it was really, and helping me out with that, because I was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of strange. There were a couple of other, because Michael was here retroblasting. He gets a lot of trolls because you know how opinions are. If you express opinions on the internet, in this case, just about toys, which is all he does. He doesn't do politics or anything like that. He talks about toys from the 80s and such, and cartoons and things like that. And he gets a lot of people angry going after him simply because he gives honest opinions, and yet he's very fair-minded. If you know Michael, he's a great guy. Well, yes, Snortapoop, some guys started going after him. A couple of them kind of went after him in a passive-aggressive way, and I'm just not going to put up with that. Someone, not just because Michael's a very dear friend of mine, he is, but any guest that I have on, if somebody's attacking my guest, like some kid saying, Michael, you're fucking wrong, well, that's not going to fly here. And it was weird. And and another one told him, just said something like, told him to calm down, and Michael just argued with him a little bit. And the guy came into my comments later and started arguing, making comments again. I'm just not used to getting a lot of that kind of stuff, which is all fine and good. But Michael does. He's used to it. He's been doing this on YouTube for almost 10 years now. And he gets a lot of hate. And bear in mind, folks, it's one thing to get hate when you do politics or anything like that, or skirt that political line, even between that and geek stuff. He does no politics ever. But he gets hate. Simply because he has opinions about, yes, oh my God, toys and cartoons. It's a weird world, folks. So, yeah, certainly no problem or anger with the young lady. I was just a little kind of surprised by it a little bit. It was kind of strange. It was a strange thing to see. I kind of never expected. And Mark D with a C, that's absolutely right. People need to learn how to agree to disagree. Disagree respectfully. And it's interesting you say that, Mark D. The toy people are more crazy. I did not know that. Michael's made me understand that. Thank you, Pat S. I'll consider that. But I didn't know that the toy people were any crazier than the comic book people or the movie people or the Star Trek people or the Star Wars people or the Doctor Who people. The Doctor Who people do some nasty stuff to some of my friends who dare to criticize the horrible new chibi era of Doctor Who, by the way. They get some nasty stuff. My buddy Noel over there at the TARDIS Zone gets some, and so do some of his other friends too. They get horrible crap. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But I didn't know there was any worse for the toy people, but I guess so. Who knew? But what are you going to do? Well, yeah, Snortapoop said is actually a good point. Outside of FNT, you don't see a lot of trolls. Only the bigger stream, and it's true, the big mega streams get them. I don't get that many at all. I've heard some rumors about Jody being out, Mark D. That won't really matter too much, though, but yeah. Yeah. Well, D-Bud, as an RMB, they're into those hot toys and stuff. That's for the big money guys right there. Hot toys and I guess sideshow and those people. That's way out of my range. I bet I can get the occasional Hasbro, but I mean, those hot toys, they look all cool and everything. But talking some bigs money rats there. Yeah, way out of my league. But what are you going to do? It's fine. I'll live. But yeah, so I haven't gotten anywhere where I get any like controversy yet. Yet, anyway. So when I see it on the channel, something like that, like when someone comes in like angry at me for something, even though it was resolved and it was fine, I'm like, wow, it's just kind of weird. There's Jed, Pop Culture Archivist. What's up, bro? Yeah, I keep hearing she's out, then she's not out. I don't know. But, well, we'll see. We will see. There's the thing now. It won't matter. It just won't matter. Because even if, in fact, I'll go this far. Look, Chibi needs to be gone. But even if Chibi's gone, it won't matter because they'll hire someone just as bad. Sometimes you just have to face it. These things die. Everything dies. Same way people die, these franchises can die. Star Wars, I just don't see Star Wars ever coming back, but there are people that believe in it coming back and hold out the hope. And I think that's fantastic if you do. But with Doctor Who, I have even less hope. For me, I say this all the time in my own personal headcanon, Doctor Who existed for 50 years. And a little bit longer if you count Time of the Doctor, which was in the same year. Hey, T-shirt historian, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. The entity known as the Doctor, and say what you want about New Who. Look, I'm a classic Who guy, all right? That's my favorite. But I've liked some of the new stuff up until I even liked I love Matt Smith as an actor. Some of his stories weren't the best. And Tennant and Eccleston, I love those guys. But that doesn't mean I always like their stories or some of the story directions that they were in. But you know what? It was still Doctor Who for me. And a lot of people really love Capaldi. I think he's a fantastic actor, but I don't like the way his Doctor was written. So I've decided in my own, I watched it, by the way. Not only did I watch all of Capaldi's run and never enjoyed any of it, no matter how good he is, I actually watched all of the Jodie crap too. Yes, I'm a sicko. I wanted to talk about it and review it. And if you haven't, don't. And D-Bud, I'm the same way. The animated, the versions are the classic, Lost Classic episodes with the finished animated stuff are fun to look forward to at least. But her being out doesn't mean anything. Doctors usually leave after 3 years anyway. Her being out means nothing. Even Chibi going out wouldn't mean anything to me. Because they would replace him with someone just as bad. The BBC is finished. They will never bring Doctor Who back. It is never. It would take a miracle for Star Wars to be fixed, but it would take a 10 times miracle for Doctor Who to be fixed, and a 10 times miracle for Star Trek to be fixed because it's in just as bad a shape. It is in the control of morons that don't respect it, don't love it, and even if a power shift happens at Disney and Star Wars is saved by people who care about it, there's nobody in control of Star Trek that has any power that cares about it or ever will. And it's the same for Doctor Who. You got to just face it. And so for me, 50 years, the entity known as the Doctor died at the end of the Time of the Doctor. Some being took over for him a la Alan Moore Swamp Thing anatomy lesson, and in a sense anyway, and just became a being that made me thought it was the Doctor. But excuse me, everyone. D. Oberg asks, what about comics? Can they be fixed? Can they be? Yes. In other words, all of these can be, but in my view, no, they won't be. If you put it like that, all of it can be fixed. But the likelihood is comics may have a better shot than the other things, because if someone like a Kirkman, and I'm not all that high on Kirkman, I'm just saying. No, just wrong pipe there, Eric. But if someone like a Robert Kirkman, someone got a hold of comics contractually or somehow, and we're treating cleaned house and treated it like a business, there's a possibility. The likelihood of that happening is not great, but there's still more likely that, since comics are less relevant than they ever have been, and 10 zillion times less relevant than anything like the BBC or Hollywood, then it has a bit of a better chance than the big three, the Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who. But I think it's still very slight. But as far as, if you just phrase the question, can any of them be fixed? Yes, they can. All of them can be fixed. In the foreseeable future, very few, if any of them, will be. I know it makes me sound like a downer. Look, there's plenty of great stuff that has come out that either, if you haven't watched in a long time, or just whatever, it got by you never watched it, or if you haven't read it in a long time, or somehow it was great, you never got a chance to read it. There's still a lot of great stuff that exists. You can read or you can watch. And once in a while, something's bound to slip through the cracks that could be okay. Not for me so much, because I just don't really like modern stuff. I don't know. The whole modern aesthetic just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I do like some modern stuff here and there. I loved Cobra Kai. I know that's sort of geek, but But I've given other things a chance that are modern, and just, I don't know. I watched both seasons of Umbrella Academy and could not really get thrilled about it. I just watched them because I got harangued by a couple of friends that I needed to watch it. So I watched it. First season was sort of okay. Then after that, I don't know. As someone I believe mentioned in the chat, manga's doing very well, so people still want to read cool stuff. But I'm not much of a manga guy. I can't get it. My son is always on my ass to read certain mangas he loves, because he loves manga and he loves anime and he loves video games. I just can't. It's not. I don't know. Maybe I should. Look. I believe if you tell me a manga is good, you're not going to get any disbelief from me. I can believe you because I hear they're really good. It's not something I'm into that much, but I respect it. And there you go, Pat S. I did like Invincible. To be fair, it was based on something that I was a fan of years ago, and it was fairly faithful to that, even though there were some changes. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Invincible. That's a good point, Pat S. I didn't think about that, but yes. The MCU's dead to me, though. This could be the first year that an MCU, multiple MCU films play in the theater that I don't go watch. Weird, I know. But you know what? Hey, I still got old Star Trek. I still got some old stuff, and there are probably some things that if someone that maybe I haven't read that I would like, or maybe they haven't watched that I would like, they're older, probably. I'm trying to think of, I don't know. Yeah, well, Snort, that's very smart. Snort says, I was able to gut my way through the Star Wars sequels until the last one. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know how you did that. I didn't go to see, I didn't go see it either. Jar Jar lost me after 2009 garbage. I never watched the Clutchman stuff. Yeah, the Clutchman stuff is very bad. Unless you're the guys that get paid the big bucks, like the Garys and the Azes and and I kid them because I love Gary and Az, and the Doomcocks and guys like that who I love, and you should not have to sit through those shows. I watched the first like half of the season, the first of STD, and I said, this is not worth it. It's so horrible. And now, of course, because of great guys like Doomcock and Gary and all those, because they review these things, and you know everything that happens in an episode if you watch their review. And then after you watch one of their reviews, first of all, you're entertained because they do a great job of explaining it. They're really good personalities on the air. And then you have fun watching their shorter video, and you didn't have to suffer. You feel bad for them for the suffering that they did, but you get all the info you need, and you know that's a horrible, monstrous piece of crap. And so you ended up with better entertainment watching their video than they did sitting through that horrible episode, which is very good of them. And if they reap awards over that, they deserve to, by the way. And they do, because they have great, successful channels, and they deserve to. Now, I was a dumbass and sat through all of P. Hard. Don't ask me why. I watched it all. And it's so horrible. It's such a disgust. I almost hate it more than STD in some ways, because it centers around destroying a character that a lot of people love. Me, I like Picard fine. I'm an original series guy, but later I grew more respect and admiration for the character of Picard, and I like the show better than I used to. So I like TNG fine. Yeah, agreed, Eric. I'm waiting for that for Gary's Picard review as well. But to me, I'm original series, and I love DS9 better actually, and P. Hard's just a disgrace. JT. I watched it all too. I'm so confirmed that TNG was basically dead to me. And yeah, you know what? I agree with people. I mean, well, I understand when people say that it's tainted the original. I mean, when I say the original, I mean the original TNG. I don't know. I can still watch those and compartmentalize and realize that that's not the real Picard anyway. But I hear you. Primal DVD arrived today for D. Oberg. Does that mean the TV series Primal? Oh, no. The new cartoon Primal. There was an old TV show called, no, it was Primeval, sorry. Primal. Okay, I want to watch that. I've only seen the first one. Primal looks really good. Never trusted a bad reboot, and I never will. I'll never forgive them for the death of my Trek. Way to paraphrase Star Trek 6 there, JT Kirk. Nice job. Yeah, D-Bud, I don't know when Gary will get that Picard review out before season 2, I'm sure. The Red Letter Media review of it was amazing. I'll tell you what, the last 10 minutes or so of that Red Letter Media video on P. Hard was, I mean, it was almost a tearjerker in a sense. It was so poignant and so brilliant and so on point, of course. Yeah, Snort, I see what you're saying. Again, look, I think Doomcock said it, and a few others that many have said, and this is a real problem, by the way, that the next generation is now tainted because of how bad P Hard was. How can you blame anyone? I don't. Now I can watch it, but I don't blame anybody for that. I can do it, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't get to me. But if it gets to you and it taints it for you, look, it bothers Raquel, a wonderful first officer Raquel. It bothers her, and she had the good sense not to sit through P Hard. But just what happened is just an absolute disgrace to that character and to that show, and the way that almost all of those actors on that show have conducted themselves in public has been disgraceful. And Pat S. Said, was it Clobberin won't watch the Goldbergs because Patton Oswalt does the voiceover. I watched the first season of that show, and by the way, I did not know he does the voiceover, but there are a lot of other reasons I won't watch that stupid show. It was kind of dumb. At first, it seemed like it was going to be fun, but the way they screw up, get everything in the timeline wrong on that show, it's just one of the reasons I don't like it. And now you've given me another because I hate Patton Oswalt. He sucks. Yes, Pat S. TNG cast are crap. There's some crappy people. I hope none of the DS9 people go too far. So. But yeah, look, Star Trek is stuck. Well, it's not real Trek anyway, but it is stuck in the hands of scum that don't understand or love or appreciate Star Trek or respect it. So there you go. It's over. Doctor Who's over. Maybe they'll make some good stuff. I've heard MODOK is really horrible. Christopher Craze. Everyone told me it was really, really disgustingly bad, but neither here nor there, because with Patton Oswalt responsible for it, I'm out anyway, I got to start my homework tomorrow night. With my garbage memory, like last week on my episodes that I have to watch of the animated series for our review show this week, if I started like earlier in the week, and then even though I liked them, there were things I forgot to write some stuff down, so the things I missed. So I'm going to start tomorrow. Thursday should be enough time. I could watch 5 of them when I get a chance. When I'm not streaming. And we got 5 episodes coming, so. A big Thispus fan? I have a MODOK figure somewhere, by the way. Pat S. So the figures that I showed you guys, I'm not in your class, Mr. Mark C, but I got tons of them buried somewhere, Tons of the old Toy Biz figures, a bunch of the old DC Direct ones, I got some pretty good Trek ones. I love the show Enterprise, even though not too many people love it. I have all those figures and even the Enterprise bridge. So far, the DS9 people seem okay, other than Burr. Yeah, Burr's I'm with you there. I went to see that Deep Space Nine documentary at a Fathom event they had a couple years back. That was pretty good. There should have been an 8th season. But what can you do? So, yeah, what episodes do we have? Let's see. Saturday night's schooling will be where are you at? Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see here. Excuse me. Yeah, I like those Enterprise figures. Mark, they're a little brittle, but oh, I got you, Eric. Okay, I see what you're saying. Solar Opposites. Let's see here. It says check out a few episodes of Solar Opposites on Hulu. It's certainly but a bit of a love letter to say, okay. You know, I have Hulu because I love the Orville and I can't wait till it comes back. But I haven't watched Hulu in forever. You know, Snort. A number of months ago, last year, in fact, you know, Raquel and I did a show called In Defense of Enterprise, I believe it was. Because we both love it unreservedly. No, we're saying not saying it's perfect or anything like that, but we think it gets way too bad a rap and gets picked on way too much. And you know, I'll tell you a lot. What you're saying is not uncommon. The common refrain is people will say that they really like that fourth season the best, and some people will say they didn't like the first two seasons at all. Not me. I actually like the first two seasons a lot. Third season, I have some issues with I have issues with the Cindy story arc, even though there were a lot of good standalone episodes in that one. And so I really don't think that the temporal Cold War was such a good idea. And I do like a lot of what they did in the fourth season, don't get me wrong. But on balance, I really do love the show and its characters. I thought again, and by the way, multiple things can be true at the same time. Even though I love it, I'll tell you that it really was not a smart move to do a prequel. And it's contradictory. You might say, well, you like it, but you say it wasn't smart to do it. Yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea to do a prequel, to be honest. Maybe a special movie or something showing the beginners of Starfleet here and there. But setting a series at that time was probably not a good idea. But that's just me. A lot of people really don't like it, you know, but I really do like the characters a whole hell of a lot. I like the whole concept of Archer being the first captain, you know, out there learning how to deal with things, finding his way and stuff. So there were little contradictions here and there, but J.C. Kirk says Enterprise was great, but like all prequels, it fracks with the existing canon. It did. The Borg episode was a very dumb idea. I'm with you there. You know, the Mirror Universe, we're not going to be honest with you. I'm a Mirror Universe purist. I mean, Mirror is my favorite episode of the original series. As much as I love Deep Space Nine, I hated the Mirror Universe episodes. On Enterprise, it was a lot more fun. But one thing that's missing it was a two-parter, was it? I believe, wasn't it? And it was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. But here's a key element that no one ever really thinks about. In the Mirror, you had, and even in those far less, you know, good, in my opinion, those Deep Space Nine episodes, you had someone from our universe crossing over into that universe. So there was kind of someone to get behind a little bit. There was no one to get behind, even though it was still a lot of fun. I really do like the Mirror Darkly, don't get me wrong, from Enterprise. But at some point, everyone's just a loathsome scumbag. It's kind of still a lot of fun, and that alternate opening credits was hilarious. I really hated the last episode of Enterprise, by the way, though. I did hate that one. And yeah, the temporal Cold War, yeah. And there's the thing. Even the fourth season, which had a lot of good stuff, I'm kind of with you. Eric, I wish it had been more episodic. The multi-parters, I'm not a big guy, a multi-parter kind of guy when it comes to Star Trek. I think it's better at being episodic, personally. I loved Archer Snort. I really did. I think he's a great character. Well, thanks, Mark D. with the C. You don't have to do that, bro. Appreciate it. But yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that one. And again, not everyone agrees. A lot of people. It's funny. It was always treated like the redheaded stepchild of Star Trek, and yet, meaning Enterprise. But and now with all these horrible fake non-Trek iterations out there, like the bad reboot garbage. Even it may have softened a few people on it, but it still gets beat up on by some people. But what can you do? Now I can kind of see that, Mark, when you say it's better streaming the third season all at once. Yes. I watched all of them in real time from the very beginning, Broken Bow on the very beginning. So yeah, waiting week to week. Anytime you're watching a show week to week, it is a bit, by definition, it's a bit of a different experience than binging a show. Yeah. And speaking of them waiting on the show, there's another thing. The Orville's just taking too long, folks. I know that I think they're still filming season 3. Hey, Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Myers. Good to see you, my friend. The Orville is the only reprieve we've gotten over the past, the only Trek we've gotten over the past few years. I really do love it. I've even been buying the comics. There's a new Orville comic came out today, and I couldn't get issue 1 of this new, or 2 of this issue of this new series. So I'm gonna have to order them online or something probably. Because the comic shop carries like 1 copy, and a buddy of mine, some certain Jargoff buddy of mine who was in the chat earlier, already bought it, and there's probably gonna be any more. But with 1 T, the Orville needs to hurry up, folks. I don't think I'm being unreasonable. This has been what, 2 years or 3? It's bad enough they won't even put it on Blu-ray. So I bought the DVDs. And it's bad enough that it's okay that they moved it to Hulu. I still have Hulu, But two years though. And we're looking at, what are we looking at? Another year almost? I've been wanting to go back and watch both seasons again, just binge it again, because I've binged them a couple of times. But after the last time I binged it, which is maybe over like a year or so ago, I thought, oh, well, there's going to be a season 3. I'll wait till right before season 3 comes out and binge them all again. I'm going to get to a point where I just say, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and just binge the sucker again. The first 2 seasons, because they may. All right, Crystal the Craze, have a good one. Nice to see you. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. I think I'm at a point now where I don't know if if the third season, because they left them in kind of a weird spot anyway. Those comics are pretty good that I've read, the ones I've read and I'm able to get, but I don't know. Yeah, Mark, I guess it's going to be out next year. April 25th was the 2-year anniversary of the last season's finale. Wow. So that's inexcusable. I know they had some. Here's the thing. That delay started happening before the Coof crap, if I remember right. They should have had an episode. They should have had a season done already. We should be getting a season 4 right now. And again, today they call seasons on television 12 episodes. So if he does one more season and does no other ones, that'll still only be, less than 40 episodes total, I guess. With probably very little chance of getting a season 4. Pat asks, Harry Mudders on Discovery, how did they do that? Well, they did it because they're morons that don't care and can't write. And it's pretty horrible. Harry Mudd is just as horrible as everyone else is on STD. So what can I tell you? No. Oh, well, my friends, I guess what? It's getting late for all you I know. And man, I cannot thank you all enough for being here with me tonight. Probably just go ahead and wrap it up. Tomorrow, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Global Geek Gang shall gather. I hope. I'll be here. I mean, I hope they'll show up. D. Oberg says, have you watched Humans? No. I don't know what that is. I am kind of one of those weirdos just doesn't like to watch new stuff. It's real tough to get me to watch new stuff. But you could tell me about it for sure. Who knows? Well, yeah, Dad Been Walking TV shows used to have 25 episodes. I mean, more DS9, and I think next time like 22 episodes or something like that. I mean, and that was just, incredible. Look, we got the fact that we got the Orville at all is fantastic. I'm not trying to, sound like a malcontent or anything, but take it easy, Snort. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for being here. We're right behind you, bro. So yeah, look, I don't know what Humans. I don't know where that is, Doug. But I'd have to. You could certainly tell me about it because I don't know. I'm not familiar with that show. Yeah. Oh, someone congratulated. Was it? Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mark D. Yeah, he says he's talking about the Orville panel. The Orville panel was hysterical. Great cast. Although someone in the audience congratulated Pilecki and Grimes on their marriage, which only lasted 2 months. That's Scott Grimes is a good dude, but he's a nice guy, by the way. He's my favorite character, by the way. His character on the Orville, but he said I've interacted with him on Twitter a little bit, and he's one of these rare celebrities. He puts something out, and again, he and I don't see eye to eye politically, but he asks people why they liked a certain. This is a couple of years back, a certain candidate we won't mention, and he asked people, and a couple of people answered him, and I remember giving him a very civil answer. And he thanked me for it. And he said, well, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. I was really asking because I'm trying to learn from people and I'm trying to, form my own opinions and something like that. He said, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Be well and tweet again at me or whatever. And I've, tweeted a couple things at him before and he's a nice dude. And so, when I saw he had that problem and we married that beautiful woman and then it didn't last for him there, I felt really bad for him. Because he doesn't seem like your typical, even Seth. Look, Seth tweets the most, in my opinion, the most idiotic political things. I can't follow him. But he will associate with people who disagree with him. He doesn't hate people that disagree with him. He may politically, we don't see eye to eye, which is always fine because we're not going to get political here anyway. But he does not. He does seem to be one who doesn't think you're a monster if you disagree with him. And that's all that it really should be, right? At least I think. Humans, a show about robots on Amazon. Okay. Got you. Thank you. Scott Grimes was in Band of Brothers. Wow. I don't know. Cool. Grimes was on an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation as a kid, by the way. So he's another crossover actor. I think he might be the only one of the Orville cast, with the exception of Seth MacFarlane, who's been on a Star Trek show. Catman says, let's see here. This upcoming season better be the in order for me to keep on going with the Orville. Unfortunately, I hope they clean up the mess they started at the end of that last season, or they with their alternate universe crap. I would again. Sometimes when you get into these long, really, really convoluted or epics or something, you kind of move away from the point. I love the Orville, what it was. I love it all. I love the whole show. I hope they keep it an episodic science fiction show that feels and resembles the best of Trek like it did. You're right. The other one was the doctor from who was a regular on Deep Space Nine. I forgot about her. She was also on 24. You're right. Her last name was Johnson or whatever. Dadman Walking, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. You're right, Pat S. My badness. Yeah. Yeah, Patricia. It was something Johnson. I forget it. Anyway, she's really, yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, my friends. I don't want to say goodbye because you're all hanging out with me, but I know you're just hanging out because to be polite. And you probably got better things to do. But we'll be here 1 p.m. tomorrow. What's everyone doing? What do you do with the rest of your night? You gonna go be like me and not sleep and watch stuff? I'm gonna go watch something. I don't watch enough. I gotta watch me some Star Trek animated. I need to go watch a Prisoner episode. And I've actually been watching a couple Marvel movies at random, like throwing some of the MCU movies in there. And even before those. I was watching the first Avengers movie before I came over here. Not Captain America, the first Avengers, or the Avengers, as it's titled in the film, Marvel's The Avengers. I liked it. So, a big shout out again. Tomorrow, Global Geek Gang, 1 p.m. Central. And then Saturday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, the fantastic Raquel Briggs and myself will be reviewing these episodes of Star Trek, the animated series. And they are, let me find that picture there. There's the book we base it off. The Time Trap, The Ambergris Element, Aquaman, The Slaver Weapon, Eye of the Beholder, and the Shahad. Those will be the episodes that we should be reviewing Saturday night. Cool, D-Bud. Oh, damn, dude. Get some rest there, Dad, man. Oh, D Oberg, get some rest there for sure, buddy. I don't know if I'm getting too much sleep or not enough these days. Usually not enough, man. So you be good. Keep that health up. I mean, I know how it goes with the health problems. Having them big time right now. So everyone, look, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Plenty of links below for any other, why that triple pink. Or any all kind of other great channels in my descriptions below. So I guess, everyone, I'm going to play us out with a great Stone Loki's outro. It's been fantastic just hanging out with you folks. That's why I do this on Wednesday nights. When I don't have a topic, I still like to show up here. And I cannot thank you all enough. Pat S., Alex James, D. Bud Martin, Eric, the great Eric K., and the great Chris Persia, the great Mark D. with a C. So many of you, Snorta Poopas and Elagabalus. And Catman, and my goodness, so many wonderful. If I forget anyone, so because I can't backtrack enough. So good to see you, D. Oberg. I think was it Sergeant Slaughterhouse or whatever was a new feller popped in. Fantastic to see you, JT Kirk. I didn't write them all down. I apologize. Everyone, Christopher the Craze was here, but he had to leave. Anyone who popped in, look, I cannot thank you enough for hanging out with me tonight, my friends, because I know I was just doing nothing but babbling. It was fun for me. I know it couldn't have been as much fun for you as it was for me, because it's just not possible, because you guys are fantastic, but I appreciate you. And thanks for being here, everyone. And always a big shout out to the great Stone Loki for this outro. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow, I hope, on the Global Geek Gang.